Ladies and gentlemen, what is good? We are back with another Call of Duty Mobile video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today, as most of you probably saw in our earlier upload today. We're officially going back to Season 1 of Call of Duty Mobile, at least for what we're going to go ahead and call Chapter 2, so I feel like now is the right time to give my countdown of my rankings of every season so far in Call of Duty Mobile, Seasons 1 through 13. My goal with this is to be as objective as possible. I know there's a really big tendency for a lot of people to, as a game progresses, automatically just say the game has gotten worse and worse every season, because a lot of times frustration just tends to stockpile, even though some seasons that have come in the later time were a lot better than the earlier seasons. We just don't remember the bad parts of the earlier seasons as much. So if you guys enjoy the video, please do me a huge favor, make sure to drop a like down below, subscribe to the squad if you haven't already. Let me know down in the comments what your favorite and least favorite seasons of Call of Duty Mobile were, and we're gonna go ahead and hop into the rankings. Coming in at the number 13 spot, we've got Season 12 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, I know a lot of you are probably going to say, Bobby, this was probably the best Battle Pass that we've ever had in the game. And honestly, I would agree with you. But at the end of the day, the Battle Pass is just skins, and what really comes down to making something a great season is whether or not it was fun to play. And this season was just not fun to play. You had a Kimbo Phoenix, you had the broken HVK. In my opinion, those are two of the most broken weapons that the game has ever seen. There was no type of balance change throughout the entirety of the season, and because of that, it was just not a fun one to play, especially as a fan of multiplayer and ranked. There were not a whole lot of days where I was looking forward to playing the game, so even though the Battle Pass was one of the great ones, ranked was not super fun. It wasn't super competitive. There was no skill-based matchmaking. Not that we even necessarily have skill-based matchmaking right now, but at that point in time, the game was just not fun. Coming in at number 12, we've got Season 8 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, the main thing about this season, well, really two things. Number one, it was the forever season. I'm just going to go ahead and call it that. It was probably the longest season that Call of Duty Mobile's ever seen, because they were trying to perfect everything as we were on the way into the gunsmith. And so because of that, it took a really, really long time. On top of that, it was still Cordite meta. The Cordite, arguably one of the more broken weapons in the history of COD Mobile, just because of how OP the hipfire was, and also how much range it had for an SMG. It really couldn't get outgunned by anything at any range. Even though this was a really solid battle pass overall, it was another one of those seasons that just seemed to keep on going and going and going, and that facial expression right there is a pretty good summary of how most of us felt at the end of Season 8. At the number 11 spot, we do have Season 10 of Call of Duty Mobile. This is another one of those that had a decent battle pass. I don't think anybody would say it was really amazing. I think Mara was the most iconic character that we got from it overall. The gun skins were kind of alright, and it was another one of those seasons that just seemed to continue to go on forever, because the one that came after that was the anniversary. And the anniversary is an event that really got hyped up a lot by Call of Duty Mobile. And in my opinion, it was worth the hype. One of my top seasons without a doubt. But with that being said, that made Season 10 that much longer and that much more difficult. Typically, the seasons that go the longest tend to be the least favorite. On the bright side, people didn't know the meta quite as much, so even though the meta hasn't really changed a whole lot since then, people didn't have the same understanding of the gunsmith as they do now, so there weren't as many people that abused the guns that we currently have. Coming in at number 10, we do have the Season 4 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, this is definitely another big upgrade to the Battle Pass. Having the introduction of SOAP and the Urban Tracker was a good thing. Yet at this time, this is when really the peak of pay-to-win was in the game. There are a lot of people worried about the introductions of weapons for only people that were playing for them. Because of that, it definitely was not one of the top seasons. Obviously, this is earlier on in rank, and I typically tend to give a little bit of an advantage to the earlier seasons of rank, but just that pay-to-win aspect definitely made this a little bit lower, which is why I do have it at number 10. Coming up at the number 9 spot, we do have the current season of Call of Duty Mobile, Season 13. I know a lot of people are naturally going to say, Bobby, this is the worst season ever. Everything in the game's terrible. We hate Call of Duty Mobile. If we're being completely honest, there are a lot of past seasons that have had way worse things than this season. Even though we do have desync. Desync is something that's always been in the game. I don't think people realize that. It's always going to be in the game in any type of online multiplayer shooter, especially run on a phone, because everybody's got varying internet levels and everything. everything else. So even though there have definitely been some downsides this season, I wouldn't put it in the 3 worst seasons at all. I will say the Battle Pass was a little bit lackluster on the gun side. Character skins were definitely great, and because of that, I do have it where it is. The other thing that I will say is right now, ranked queue times are very, very, very bad. Ranked has been in need of an overhaul for a while right now, and I think things have just kept compiling until ranked has reached the state that it is right now. But I do have Season 13 at the number 9 spot. Next up, at the number 8 spot, we've got Season 5 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, this is definitely one of the better battle passes that we've had. We got David Mason, we got Reaper, we got the Blue Steel for the Arctic 50, and also for the AK-47. So even though this was a fantastic season as far as the battle pass goes, this was also a very controversial one, because this is where bundles were initially introduced into the game, but they weren't introduced for everybody. So there were a specific number of people, I believe it was around 25% of people that got bundles, and then there was the other 75% of people that were still stuck with crates. So there are actually people like me who ended up getting legendaries in bundles, which has never been a thing before, and it caused a lot of controversy. This was also close to the peak of the desync issue in Call of Duty Mobile. So even though this was one of the earlier seasons as far as rank goes, so ranked was a little bit more competitive than it is now, at the same time there was a lot of controversial issues in that season, which is why I do have it at the number 5 spot. Next up at number 7, we've got Season 7. This is another one, definitely a decent battle pass. I feel like this was in a little streak where the battle pass was like good but not great, so nobody was ever super hyped up for the battle pass at this point, but it was definitely decent. At the same time, this was the beginning of the Cordite meta, so you have to give a little bit of give and take. And yet at the same time, we have the introduction of the QQ9, which is also known as the MP5. I feel like one of the more iconic guns in Call of Duty Mobile. There are definitely some cool events in this season. We had Attack of the Undead being introduced into the game as well. Overall, this is definitely a middle of the pack season, but not really too much to complain about outside of the Cordite meta, because of that, I do have that at number 7. Up next at the number 6 spot, I've got Season 1 of Call of Duty Mobile. And I know a lot of people are going to say, Bobby, Season 1 was the best season. After that, everything got worse. To be honest, if you think that, you're just wrong, and you're letting your experiences in the game twist your remembrance of everything. Season 1, while it was super important to Call of Duty Mobile, because if Season 1 never happens, Call of Duty Mobile doesn't happen. At the same time, meta was not very good. AK-117, Type 25, S-36, all very broken. There were a lot of hackers in the game. There were a lot of issues in the game. At the same time, this was without a doubt the most competitive that ranked has ever been. Some people would say it was too difficult to rank up, and honestly, I would prefer if we had a point system more similar to what we had in this season of ranked. Now, keep in mind, we did have the Buy 15 and the Red Action DLQ, which were obtainable in Battle Pass crates. That's actually something that was taken out of the Battle Pass at a later date, and honestly, I would love to see it make a reintroduction, but unfortunately, doesn't look like that's going to be happening at any time soon. At the same time, Season 1, without a doubt, had lots and lots of issues that people would like to forget about, and it's because of those issues, primarily hackers, that I do have it at the number 6 spot. Coming in at the number 5 spot, we have Season 2 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, in my opinion, this was really the last season of rank that was actually competitive, and that's part of the reason I have it as high as I do. This season also had a really improved battle pass relative to Season 1, and yet at the same time, still not quite up to the standards of what we get right now. I think a lot of people kind of underappreciate how ridiculously good the battle passes we've gotten in some of the past seasons have been. So the battle pass definitely improved, but you gotta keep in mind, at this point in time, we still had a lot of hackers, we still had S-36 spammers, the Type 25 got nerfed during the season, but the AK-117 was still relatively broken. At the same time, there were really big improvements made in this season, and if I could go back to this ranked season, I would absolutely love to, especially as far as the scoring system goes and everything else. Hopefully we will see some changes like that coming to the game soon in regards to improvements to the ranked system, but definitely a really improved battle pass, and honestly, it had rare skins like the Arctic 50 Glacier as well as the AK-47 Glacier that in current battle passes would probably be considered epic, so you got to keep that in mind as well. Overall, I would put this one at the number 5 spot. Coming in at number 4, we've got Season 6 of Call of Duty Mobile. This one was a game changer for a number of different reasons. Number 1, definitely had a really solid battle pass and also a theme. We had the introduction of 1v1 maps and everything like that. We did have the introduction of the COD at a later point in the season, and it was definitely way too strong for too long, and at the same time, people didn't quite understand how good it was, so it wasn't really abused quite as much. Regardless, this was a super sick battle pass, and also Season 6 was the beginning of COD Mobile Champs. In my opinion, COD Mobile Champs was an absolute game changer when it comes to the competitive scene for Call of Duty Mobile, which is such an important thing that you really can't discount. So even though there might have been some aspects that you could knock on for Season 6, ranked was decent. There weren't too many bugs or issues in the game. Overall, this is one of my top favorite seasons, and Season 6 will absolutely hold a special place in my heart. Coming in at the number 3 spot, we've got Season 3 of Call of Duty Mobile. Now, this one was a big one for a number of reasons. Number 1, we have the introduction of the free Locust. Previously, there had actually been a lot of guns that were pay to win. Or not necessarily pay to win, the HBR was definitely pay to win, but at least pay to obtain, which is not something that anybody ever really likes. Season 3 was the start of the end of that. It was also the only time that we had golden tickets, which would actually allow free-to-play players to get crates for free. It was the most improved battle pass that we had out of all the battle passes without a doubt. It marked the introduction of the Geometry Type 25 and HG40 skins, which are definitely two very, very iconic skins. It was a point in time where ranked was relatively competitive, and overall just a really solid season. Hackers were a little bit of an issue here and there, but it's definitely decreased from previous seasons, and overall there's just a lot of really, really good memories from Season 3 of Call of Duty Mobile. The battle pass was so good too. I almost forgot about that. We got the FTL and the Phantom being introduced in that battle pass. This was just an absolute banger of a season. Coming in at number 2, we've got Season 9. Now, this one, in my opinion, was the biggest game changer for Call of Duty Mobile because it introduced Gunsmith into the game. I know there are a lot of people who don't like the complexity that Gunsmith added, but overall, it gave the game so much more longevity, so many more options in regards to customization and everything else. Gunsmith, in my opinion, is the best thing to be added to the game, and because of that, this is the second best season of Call of Duty Mobile. Honestly, the Battle Pass, I could kind of give or take on that. There were also so many other things that you could do during this season. There were so many events, so many missions, so many things you could obtain. We had our first marksman rifle, the Kilo, which even though it's a little bit underwhelming overall, definitely fun to use. Season 9 was a game changer for Call of Duty Mobile. And then last but definitely not least, we got Season 11 of Call of Duty Mobile, the anniversary, the battle pass. Even though a lot of people hated the brightly colored skins, the introduction of Alcatraz, the amount of events that we had going on, the things that were grindable, the free skins, everything in the game. This, in my opinion, was the peak of Call of Duty Mobile. It absolutely lived up to the hype, even though we had to wait a really long time for it. It was really, really worth it. Love the battle pass. We got the Fennec. This was before we had the broken Fennec, or at least not till later in the season, and overall, I loved Season 11 of Call of Duty Mobile, and regardless of whatever issues were in the game at that point in time, in my opinion, this was the best season of Call of Duty Mobile. But that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.